turn indicator front right failure, high beam headlight right failure, deep beam right failure. A lot of different errors on that beautiful 7 Series. Today's video will work with that beautiful 7 Series. That one has laser headlights and it has a major issues with that. Actually, this is a very typical problem because every headlight has 4 different modules that can go wrong, or even the headlight can go wrong, and with that you'll get the errors you have seen in the beginning of the video. In today's video I'll show you how to diagnose those super expensive parts and also how to fix all those issues. That will be very interesting. Hi all, I'm Vladimir, you are on the BimDoc Channel, and stay tuned. Fixing the headlight issue on modern BMWs is not as straightforward as you might think, because actually those cars have so huge amount of different electronics, and just the variety of the errors that can occur there is just enormous. Every headlight of that car, because it's laser headlight, it costs in thousands, around maybe like 3,000 euros each headlight. Every headlight has different ECUs that might go wrong and therefore cause the errors you have seen before. In order not to just order the headlight, all the models, everything, first we need to diagnose what's wrong with that car, and only after that purchase the parts, replace those, and recode or even reprogram. Before we're going to actually fix that car, I would highly like to thank all the subscribers who are supporting my channel with the paid subscription, and also for the super thanks that allowing me to buy different new equipment. For example, that Rode Wireless Pro microphone set. Actually, guys, how do you like the sound with that? And other gimbals and so on. In today's video, you might notice that when I'm moving, the camera is tracking me, but actually I'm making that by myself, actually with the help of the gimbal, and actually that was bought with your support, guys. So thank you everyone who is supporting me. As always, I will divide the procedure into different steps. Step number 1 is always confirming the customer's complaint. Customer is complaining that his right headlight is not working properly. As you have seen in the beginning of the video and actually seeing at the moment, his turn indicator is not working. Also, the car gives error that his high beam is dipped and not working as well. Visually, we can see that actually the turn indicator is not working, so we can confirm that issue. But actually, if you turn on the low beams or the high beams, they're working perfectly, but the car still gives the error. So, of course, the first thing we need to do is to run the ISTA and make the full diagnostics of the car, and then we can continue. Diagnostics has been complete, but before we go to the errors themselves, actually have a look over here. You can see the software level of the vehicle. At the moment, I will just not tell you why it is important to see that at the moment. Who knows, write in the comments. Of course, at the end of the video, I'll show you about that. But let's go to the errors themselves. So, what we can see from the errors, okay, there are some errors with the CAFAS camera, and so on and so on and so on. Actually, it's not important at the moment. At the moment, we're dealing only with the headlights. Rest of the errors we will fix later. So we can see the turn indicator short circuit to the ground. At the moment, the error is not active, but if I remove that, it will appear soon. And actually, low high beam also short circuit to the ground. In the ISTA, this is not the video about how to use the ISTA, but actually, if you press down right over here, calculate test plan, ISTA will calculate the test plan and it will tell you what to do next. We will not run that process together with you from the beginning until the end, how to use the ISTA. This is not the video about how to use the diagnostic software. If you would like such a video, I might create that in English as well, because at the moment I have that video only in Russian. But believe me, I'll tell you what you should do next and what ISTA would tell you, and actually how to do that even without the ISTA. To save your valuable time, I will sum up all the information that ISTA would tell you if you would calculate the test plan. Actually, the ISTA would tell you. It will recommend you to run the several tests. ISTA will blink the lights, try different things and so on. And after that, ISTA will come to conclusion that one of the ECUs in the headlight is faulty. And actually, the ISTA would even recommend you to switch the ECUs from right to left to check if it's plausible or not. Why it's so important to do in such way? In the beginning of the video, I already told you that every headlight is very expensive. The ECUs inside the headlight are also very expensive. The trick is that the headlight, those are paired ECUs. So the right headlight and the left headlight, ECUs in those are interchangeable. That's why if we'll take the ECUs from the faulty light and put those to the correct light, after that we'll start up the car and we will see if the error goes from the right light to the left light. It means the faulty is the ECU inside the headlight, and we can exchange that. If the error will not go over, then it means most likely the fault is the headlight itself, and that will be way more costly procedure to fix. Of course, there are a bit more components in that system. BDC ECU or body domain control is also part of the lighting system. It controls it. Sometimes it also might go bad and not working properly, and also the wiring from the BDC to the headlight itself. But based on my experience, I can tell you that 99%, okay, not 99, 90% of the cases, the headlight ECU is faulty because moisture gets in, and that's why it's getting faulty. I'm talking all those things from the head. It's a bit difficult for you to understand what I'm talking about. So let's open electronic part catalog and see how those lights are made and what ECUs I'm talking about. The same information will be provided for you by ISTA as well. But if you don't want to be connected to the car and just make your home job and prepare to work with the vehicle, you have to visit the electronic parts catalog. And actually it will be needed for you anyway. So just go to whatever part catalog that is available. If one of the catalogs is not available, just use another one. For example, realom.com. Just go inside the catalog and you have two options over there. Either select the car manually with all the chassis, production year, engine, and so on, or just enter the VIN code of the vehicle you would like to see the parts for. I'll be not typing in the VIN code, I'll just use already the pre-saved settings. As we can see, that car is 7 Series, 3-liter diesel engine, and it is G11 chassis. And over here, we can see the headlight and all the ECUs that go to the headlight. That ECU, number 6, is the main module that is responsible for how the light is operating. ECU number 3, that one, it is responsible for the turn indicator. And ECU number 1 and number 2, those are responsible for day running lights or for the angel lights. How do I know that? You can just see the part number, you can scroll down and you can see, for example, number 3 was turn signal module. Number 6 was control unit for electronics. And one of those might be faulty. Based on the errors that we do have, we can say that we had the problems with the headlight, with the high and low beam. For the high and low beam, the responsible is ECU number 6, so the main module. We also had a problem with the turn indicator. But because when we will disassemble the light, you will see that the BDC ECU is actually connected to the light through the main ECU of the light. That's why if the turn indicator is not working, it either means that the main ECU inside the light is not giving the signal to the turn ECU, the turn signal ECU, or the turn signal ECU is also not working. So my conclusion would be that in that headlight, most likely the ECU number 6 is not working properly. So it looks like that one. And or ECU number 3 is also not working. What we will do next? We will disassemble the headlights, take off the right and the left one, swap the ECUs, and the error should go over to another ECU. The beauty of that method is that actually after switching the ECUs, both of the headlights are coded for the same vehicle. That's why you will not require anything for that such a simple diagnostics. If you just switch the ECUs, the error should go over. Yes, it sounds simple, just switch the ECUs, but actually to take out the ECU, we need to take out the headlight. To take out the headlight, we need to remove the front bumper of the vehicle. That's why I'm located in the automotive shop with a lifter, so I will have way better access under the bumper to disassemble that. How do you know how to disassemble the bumper, what screw need to be removed and so on? Of course, the answer you will find in ISTA, where the same method as you were diagnosing the lights. So calculating the test plan, and ISTA will actually recommend you which screws to unscrew and so on and so on. But actually there is one more method. If you go to the website, it is called New TIS, and over there you'll just select the vehicle. We select the 7 Series, and that will be G11. Over there go to Repair Manuals, go to Lights, and actually Headlight, and we are interested in remove and install both headlights. Over here is the full manual how you should act to remove both headlights. And of course, in vice versa, you will assemble everything back. So to sum up, we will need to remove the plastic trim over here. We will need to remove the front grille, both wheels, the arcs under the wheels, unscrew the front bumper, and only then we can take out the headlights. So it will be enormous amount of work. Okay, not enormous, but it will take considerable time to remove those. That's why I will fast forward, and we will continue when we can access to the ECUs themselves. So we have removed the front bumper. Now we have the full access to the headlights. It took me 30 minutes to disassemble everything with a normal pace, so it is a kind of time-consuming job. Now we have to remove both headlights. I will act exactly according to the manual I have shown you before, either from the ISTA or from the New TIS, the manual that you can find online. By the way, accessing the New TIS website is impossible without registering over there. How to register there? You have to apply for that. If you need access to the New TIS, join my Telegram channel, also the Instagram channel. Over there in the Telegram channel, just ask the guys, hey guys, who can add me? I will be making some of you, not the admins, but just the guys who are helping me, and actually whoever who has the access to that website can allow you over there. That's why join my Telegram channel. You'll find a lot of useful information over there. Let's continue working with our headlights. Let's have a closer look to the headlight. As you can see, it is laser light, and you can recognize those by those beautiful blue things. So the headlight, as per manual, we will need to unscrew that screw and also that one that's far away over there. Unplug one plug, this is this one. The torch will be T30. On the top of the light, we will need to unscrew that one, and then we can take out the light. So now, when I do have the light in my hands, I can show you why it was needed to remove that. You can see that ECU, the big one, that was our ECU number 6. This is the main ECU controlling the whole light. In addition to that, there are several more ECUs. Down here, you can actually see the ECUs that are controlling DRL, or day running lights, the angel eyes. And this guy is responsible for the side marker itself. Now I'll remove the second headlight as well. I will switch that ECU and that bigger ECU, and then we'll see if the error goes over or not. And working with those lights, be really careful, because those are expensive as hell. Because this is the main ECU of the light. It is responsible for the majority parts of the light. I will try to replace that one switch from the right to left first. Then I will connect the lights, turn on the car, and we'll see if what errors went over and what did not. And we'll see. On the back side there is a clip, a plug. You just unplug it and then you can take out the ECU. So this is known good ECU. I'll take the known bad and we'll switch those. The ECUs have been swapped. I have connected the lights. Now let's turn on the ignition, let's turn on the lights, and we'll see. Was it a success or some more investigation is needed? So first, I'll see if the lights are working at all. Yes, the lights are working, both of the lights, as it's supposed to be. Now I'll see what error does it show. It should go to the left. Yes, high beam left failure. Yes, so the high beam error went to the left. It means that ECU is definitely faulty. Remember, we also had the problem with the turn indicator. Now I'll turn on the hazard lights, and it shows me front left failure. So, as you can see, the hazard light is on over here, but over here it is not working. At the same time, we can see that hazard light is now working. So, the error was only in one ECU. This is super great news. In addition to that, I'll quickly connect to the car remotely to see if I can see both lighting ECUs through the ACs as well, because after replacing those, the coding will be needed. And if I cannot see both of those, there might be some additional problems with the wiring and so on and so on. But most likely it should be absolutely okay, because I can already see that both lights are working as they should. Connecting through the ACs, just to make sure everything works well. Actually, the same thing can be done via the ESTA as well. Over there, you can also see both those ECUs, but ACs will be just a bit faster. So, we can see, yes, we can see FLM. This is front light ECU. The both are responding. 43 is for the left headlight and 44 is for the right headlight. Both are responding. I can see them through the read ECU. Yes, that's good. Let's see if I can also assess the coding file. Yes, it's absolutely accessible. That's good. And with the right one. Yeah, perfect. I'm fine with that. We can continue. Guys, those of you who have paid attention to the date, today's date is the 1st of April. At the moment we have diagnosed, so this is the easiest and the cheapest error that could be on that car. We need to replace only one ECU. I will show you the part number a bit later. I have called the owner of the car. He will arrive here in a minute, but because it's the 1st of April, I'll tell him that actually replacement of the whole light is needed. And the price of the light is around 3,000 euros. But of course, I will not tease him for too long. I will tell him the truth and we'll continue with that. And let's have a closer look to the ECU itself. So it looks like that one. You can see all the part numbers and everything. And actually inside there is a special plug with a connector, and everything is hermetically sealed. That's why do not keep the lights open for too long. Make pictures of the ECU and assemble everything back so no dirt or moisture will get inside the light. For you it was just a second, for me it was a couple days, but I have the replacement part. Very important information about those replacement ECUs. For the lighting ECUs, actually you have three options. You buy brand new original ECU. This is choice number one, always preferred. Choice number two would be still original ECU, but used one. In some cases it is absolutely acceptable. For example, if those ECUs are not going bad very often, for example the lighting ECU, it is okay to purchase original used ECU. It still will work. And choice number three, buy brand new, but some kind Chinese or non-original. For BMWs, I do not recommend buying non-original ECUs, at least for the lighting. Based on my experience, I can tell you that I had enormous amount of cases when the new ECUs are installed, the car is assembled together, and after that, you're trying to code that and it's not working. So only BMW produced ECUs, only the OEM ones, new or the used parts, it's also okay. Now with our guy, as I told you, it is original part, so you can see all the part numbers, everything is exactly as with the previous ECU. Now we have four possible ways how the situation could develop. Number one, the easiest one, I will install that ECU into the right headlight. We will need to code that and after that initialize with the ESTA and everything will work straight away. This is option number one, of course the most preferred, the easiest one. Option number two, how the situation will go. Remember I told you that lighting ECUs and the lights are paired ECUs. On that headlight we have software on that level, for example. And with the used ECU, we don't know what software is in it. It could be lower, a bit lower, the same, or the newer one. Because lighting ECUs are pair ECUs, the software in those have to be equal, otherwise the ECUs will not work properly. In that case, we will need to equalize the software inside two lighting ECUs, so they will work well. It is a bit more job compared to the option number one, but still doable. Option number three. Remember, at the beginning of the video, I asked you, hey guys, do you know why it is important to see the software level of the whole car? This is the time to reveal the secret why it's important. So, paired ECUs, lighting ECUs have to be at the equal level. But the car should be also at almost the same level, or in ideal world at the same software level. Because if the software differences in the ECUs are too great, the car will get just different errors and will not work properly. That's why if the lighting ECUs will be at the newest level and the car is at old software level, for example, that car was produced in 2015, and if it was never updated before, I would have to update the whole car to match the same I-step level or the software level. Otherwise, it will just not work properly. How to update the whole car, I have actually the special video for that. It is my ACs for Dummies series, part number 4. Have a look over there. And option number 4, that ECU is just not working properly because it is used original ECU, it just might be malfunction. And of course, this is the least preferred option, because in that case, I have to order new one and still wait a couple days or even week, depend on the parts availability. Now it's time to install our part into the vehicle and see how it goes. By the way, let's play a game. In the comments, write which option do you think will happen in our case, 1, 2, 3, or 4. have connected both lights. Left headlight is working, as you can see now, and the right headlight, not a single bulb is working there, and it's absolutely okay because we have installed ECU over there and we haven't encoded that. I have connected to the car as per the videos I'm teaching you. For example, ACs for Dummies part number 1. Over there I'm telling in details how to connect to the BMW properly. So what do we have here? At the moment you can see the screen of my laptop. We will need, you can see the FLM. Those are ECUs that are responsible for the lights. You can see the FLM 43, it is for the left light, and FLM 44 for the right light. You can see the coding file in the left is present, and it should be because over there we have original ECU, and over here you can see the coding file is only all the F symbols. It means that ECU is not coded to that car. What else can we see? Let's compare the softwares. Bootloader in the left light and in the right light, they are identical. Actually, this is very good. Other software, that file, actually it is not the same one. So that one I can see that it is newer. Actually, correction, no, it is the same one. Yes, so both identical. So what does it mean? Software in the ECU, the used one from the scrapyard that I purchased, is exactly the same as in the ECU that is in the car. It is very good sign. It means we will not need to program the ECUs to the same level because they're already at the same level. The only thing we will need to do is to encode it. So how does encoding work? Actually, guys, you really often ask me how to deal with the used ECUs. Why not to tell you? You highlight the ECU, you need to code to the vehicle, then pay attention, you have to be in the coding tab over here. You press detect coding file for software, and from here you have to choose the correct software. How do you know which one to choose? You go to the VCM, Vehicle Configuration Manager, Master, Redice step, and you can see the software of the vehicle is 2022 July 550. And based on that information, you have to choose the appropriate coding file. What will happen if you choose the wrong coding file? Actually, if it does not suit, it will be just not accepted. So you cannot make a mistake here. If one is not working, try another one. But this is the most correct method how to choose it. So we go back to coding. We still highlight our right headlight module, detect coding file, and now we choose appropriate software. You can see there's even newer one. Some of them are the same, some of them are another one. And you go to, actually we can see it is the same coding file. One moment, I'll just open that. So in ideal, I will have for right light choose the same coding file as for the left light because the software is the same. I'll just scroll down, and actually I can see if I'll choose the newest one, it will be exactly the same. Just compare that one to the left light over here, and it will be okay. Now I press right click and code. The light will be encoded. If the ACs will show no errors, it means software was successfully applied over there. During that procedure, you might see that the light should or might go on as well. We'll see that. At the moment, left light is working, right light is not working. The coding process is still ongoing. And now the right light went on. So it is a very good sign. And let's go back to ACs. Actually, it shows the coding file was not accepted. It's not a good one. It should be accepted. Let's read ECU one more time. And actually, yes, it showed us the error, but actually you can see the coding file is inside there and it is absolutely okay. So actually it went in. Just to be sure, press code one more time. Always prefer to end coding when everything is green and accepted. Otherwise, you just cannot guarantee the good work. Now it is green, as you can see. That's okay. Sometimes coding might not go in with the first time. It happens, absolutely okay. Now let's go into the car, turn on the lights and see how it works. And let's see what it shows us. It shows us the PDC failure and a lot of different errors. It's absolutely okay because we have removed the front bumper where are all the sensors. Let's turn on the lights. And remember, with the previous ECU, we had the error to the right light. At the moment, we do not see that. I'll even play with the high beams, as you can see from the wall. And let's see what it shows us. Yeah, it's absolutely okay. Okay, high beam, right failure, it still shows that. But no low beam error and no turning indicator. At the moment, turning indicators, actually I can see they are already working. Let's sum up the situation. What do we have at the moment? Yes, in the car we have a lot of different errors because of front bumper being disconnected. Not an issue, we'll connect it back and erase all those errors and it will be okay. With the lights, left headlight is working properly as it was working before. The right headlight is now working also. Everything is working, side blinker working and so on and so on. Low beam working, high beam is working, but the car gives me error about high beam malfunction. What could it mean? There are actually two options. The ECU I have installed into the right light was from the scrapyard, so it might be a bit faulty. Yes, it could. Or it is the problem inside the light itself. On the background, without the camera, I will switch again the ECUs and run exactly all the same tests. And if I'll see that after switching the ECUs, that light, the left light, will not have high beam error, it means still the right light is faulty and more investigation is needed. It could be the case that there was two faults in one. One thing was that ECU that we have replaced, and the second thing is the light itself. Because those bulbs inside the light are not interchangeable anymore. You have to replace the whole light, and it might be very, very expensive. Anyway, on the background, I will run some checks, and I'll come to you with the conclusion in a second. I have changed ECUs one more time, and guys, you will not believe, but the error went over. So we can see the high beam error on the left light. And actually, when I'm blinking with the headlights, if I see in front of the car, the left headlight high beam is not working anymore, and on the right it's working absolutely okay. Obviously, we cannot call that a fix, because using the laser headlights without high beams working properly, it's not a good option. So those of you who wrote in the comments option number 4, so something is wrong with the ECU itself, were right. What we will do next? I will reorder the ECU, send that one back to the supplier, tell him the issues with that. Actually, it is not working. So we'll order one more time another ECU. And here is again. If you buy the new ECU, you can guarantee it will be working, but it costs way more. If you purchase the used part, then it will cost less, but it might be not working. It's always a matter of choices. Just for the record, today is already 10th of April, so it has passed more than a week since we started working with that car. As you can see, the car is in a bit another location already, of course, because no one will hold the car at one place in automotive shop for such a long time. I have ordered brand new ECU. Let's install that one and see how it will work. I will not show you all the same steps again. Believe me, procedure is exactly the same. I'll connect the ECU to the headlight, code or program if needed, and we'll see will it fix our issue or not. For illustrative purposes, I have changed the angle of the camera so you can see both lights better. I have installed brand new ECU into the left headlight. And now I'll turn on the vehicle. Also, in addition to that, I have hooked up my additional power supply, because in the morning when I was starting the car, I didn't like how it cranked. I might assume that the battery is a bit dead. And one small comment from my side. As you can see, the ECU FLM number 43 is for the left headlight and 44 for the right headlight. And what can I see from the software? You can see the SVFL or the software file. Actually, it is 04/50, and in the right headlight is 05/100. So based on that, I can tell that the software in both ECUs is different and programming will be needed 100%. But for the beginning, let's just try to code it. Procedure will be exactly the same as the previous time. And now during the coding, if everything goes well, the light should go on. It shows us error. It doesn't want to be coded. It might be because we have chosen the wrong coding file. I have chosen that one. Let's try a bit older, because the software is old in that. And if the coding will not help, then we need to program. We need to program anyway. Coding over the Wi-Fi is absolutely okay. As you can see, I'm not connected to the car at the moment with the wire, only with the Wi-Fi. Programming over the Wi-Fi is absolutely no-go. And actually I can see, yes, the process has finished successfully. And what can we see? The light went on. It is actually a good sign. I'll just go to the car itself and turn on the lights, and we'll see how it works. First thing, the hazard lights. Yes, I can see in the mirrors, everything is working, that's good. Previous time we had the problem with the high beam. I can see the high beam is also working at the moment. I'll just play with the lights a bit, and then in the car I'll see if I do have some errors or no. Of course I will show you that. And let's go inside the car to see how it looks from inside there. So by the way, this is the power supply, as I told you. So let's go inside the car. And we can see over here, actually, no errors. Let's play with the lights. I'll even blink the high beam so you can see it from there. And absolutely no errors are present. Everything is working fine. Let's try the turn signals one by one. Yes, it's working. It's also working. No errors. That's super good. Because the only acceptable way to program the BMW is over the cable, that's why I have to sit in the car or just use long enough cable. In-net cable cannot be too long. It's only 1.5 meters or something like that. It cannot be overextended. It will give a lot of errors during the programming, so do not do that. Of course, you can use the icon with the longer cable or just go inside the car. It is not a series about how to program the ECU. For that I have released special manual ACs for Dummies Part 4. Over there in details I'm talking about how to program the ECU. But at the moment, yes, the car is working. But write in the comments why it is not professional to leave different software in different headlight ECUs, how it can affect car in the future. As we can see from the calculated software, the left headlight, yes, the file needs to be updated. The right headlight, it has already the latest software. That's why it was important to check the software level of the vehicle before we're starting to work. And yes, let's reprogram only the left headlight. Programming has been completed. Let's go back to coding tab, read ECU, and we'll see two ECUs. And now you can see the software is identical in both headlights. And we have finished with the ACs. We can disconnect with that. And now it's time to assemble everything back in vice versa direction. Of course, I will speed up to save your time. After that, we will definitely need to run the diagnostics, delete all the errors. At the moment, there is no point to do that because we don't have the front bumper, so some sensors are not connected there. That's why we have a lot of different issues over there. So, see you soon. Before assembling everything absolutely to the order it was before putting all the bolts and nuts over there, after the front bumper is on the car and all the plugs are connected. Now it's time to make the diagnostics to the vehicle to make sure that all the systems are working. Remember, we had the camera system failure because it was disconnected and so on and so on and so on. So diagnostics now, making sure everything is working, and then continue assembling. And diagnostics have been completed. As you can see, both lights are working as they should be. Actually, in the ISTA, I can see a couple errors we haven't had before. So our auxiliary heater is locked, so it needs to be unlocked. And actually, the SWW ECU is in transport mode. So we need to unlock that as well. But it is all software things, so I can do those after the car is assembled. Gentlemen, let's sum up what have we done with that vehicle. The problem was issues with the light. At the beginning we didn't know, was it the actual light itself, the laser light, super expensive, or the ECU inside the light. Actually inside the light there was in total 4 different ECUs, and you had to make sure which one of those or the light itself was faulty. During our diagnostics we came to conclusion that the main ECU, lighting ECU, was faulty. We made that with the help of switching the ECUs. Unfortunately, If you install the used ECU, it could be faulty as well. I have even cases when I'm installing brand new ECU and it's also not working. So even the new parts will not guarantee you success. Used parts will guarantee the success even less. That's why it's up to you which parts to choose. The situation was solved by installing brand new ECU. ECU software inside the ECU was different in one light to another light, so we had to equalize the software. Remember, during the video I asked you to write in the comments why it is necessary to equalize the systems. And here is the answer for those who didn't know. You can see on the windshield there are cameras. It's called CAFA system or the driver assistance system. If the software inside the lights is different, that system might not treat the incoming traffic well, and that's why the light will not operate as they should. That's why in paired ECUs always keep the software at the same level. It will guarantee the best performance. Otherwise, the client will have to waste his time and you have to waste your time to equalize the software afterwards. Why to do so? I always prefer to make things professionally from the first time. Couple of things that have to be done with that vehicle behind the scenes. Remember, I also told you that not normalizing the lights, but adjusting the lights to the right height will also be required. That cannot be done in the conditions of that service with the equipment I do have over here. That will be done off screen in another automotive shop. And one more thing, after connecting everything back, we had two errors. One was the auxiliary heater was locked. We need to unlock that. And also the SWW or the lane change system, it was in transport mode. That was after the programming of the vehicle. I removed that off screen with the help of the ISTA. If you are interested how to do those operations as well, write in the comments that you require updated video about how to work with the BMW diagnostic software or with the ISTA. I do have such video in Russian, but not in English yet. I do hope that you enjoyed watching that video and learned something new. And now we can call that car that it is a fix. And see you next time. Bye.